Chosen one, stop whatever you are doing right now. Do not scroll past this message. I need your complete and undivided attention for the next few minutes. You did something recently that looked ordinary and almost invisible to the people around you. You thought no one saw it, but in heaven, it was thunder. What you did has terrified the enemy and triggered an immediate response from the Most High. I am going to reveal exactly what that action was and the specific reward heaven is releasing because of it. You did not find this video by accident. The algorithm may have placed it in front of you, but your awareness chose to stay. Heaven intercepted your feed today because you are standing at the most critical intersection of your life. The enemy has been working overtime this week to keep you distracted. He wants you to swipe away before you hear this truth, because he knows this revelation will permanently break the cycle of delay in your life. Lock your spirit here, because your season of confusion ends today. Anchor your spirit to my voice right now. That quiet exhaustion you have been carrying in your bones, the kind of tired that sleep cannot fix. Stop dismissing it. You have spent the last few weeks wondering why you feel so drained and why the atmosphere around you feels so heavy. You want to isolate yourself from everyone. You thought you were losing your mind or that something was wrong with your physical body. I am here to reframe your reality. That is not a worldly struggle. That is intense spiritual discernment. Your spirit has been working overtime, fighting unseen battles and shielding people who do not even know they are under attack. Every time you wake up between 3 and 4 in the morning, feeling that heavy pressure in your chest, it is not a sign of weakness. It is a spiritual awakening. Heaven is isolating you to protect your inner architecture from frequencies that cannot travel with you to your next dimension. You have survived when you were broken. You extended grace when they deserved anger. The darkness fears what you carry because your very presence shifts the room. The people around you might not understand your silence, but heaven recorded it. Take a deep breath and release the burden you were never meant to carry. We are going to go deeper into what heaven is preparing for you right now. Now I want to pause and hold something in front of you before we continue. Over the past few years, something has been discovered in research laboratories that most people who care about spiritual matters have never been told about. Not because it contradicts what is sacred, because it came from a direction most of us are not watching. A small group of neuroscientists in New York found something profound about the way the human brain is designed. This discovery explains something most spiritually sensitive people have felt, but have never been able to name. I am going to tell you exactly what they found later in this message, but right now hold this one question in your mind. What if the reason your mind feels so foggy is not a lack of discipline, but because something was literally taken from you? That mental fog is deeply connected to the spiritual weight you carry every single day. You have always been the person who solves problems for everyone else. When people around you are hurting, you absorb their pain as if it is your own physical pain. You thought this was just your personality, but heaven calls it being a spiritual intercessor. The deep exhaustion you feel is the result of standing in the gap for people who refuse to do their own healing. Your soul is working overtime in the unseen realm, while your physical body pays the heavy price. You look around and wonder why your circle of friends is getting smaller. People you trusted have suddenly walked away without a clear explanation. You feel a profound sense of loneliness even when you are standing in crowded rooms. Do not let the enemy convince you that you are hard to love or that you are doing something wrong. Heaven is deliberately clearing your room. God is isolating you because your frequency is shifting rapidly. and you can no longer afford to be anchored to people operating on a counterfeit vibration. Every time you enter a space, you can instantly feel the unseen energy shifting. You know when someone is smiling at you, but their spirit is harboring hostility. That is not you overthinking or being overly sensitive. That is your God-given discernment operating exactly as it was designed to operate. But carrying that level of spiritual awareness in a world that praises fake connections is completely draining your nervous system. You are operating as a warrior of light in enemy territory, and it is entirely natural that your physical vessel feels the strain of this constant warfare. The enemy desperately wants you to believe that this season of heavy isolation is a punishment. He wants you to adopt a survival identity where you shrink your immense light just to make other people feel comfortable. When you agreed with the lie that you were not chosen, you accidentally built a shelter out of your own limitations. But God is completely dismantling that false shelter right now. Heaven is stripping away the survival identity you wore just to make it through your past trauma. You are being positioned for a massive realignment that will change everything. But let me reframe your reality right now, because you have been reading the signs backwards. You have spent years enduring mistreatment and staying quiet when you had every right to scream. People looked at your silence and called you weak. They thought they could walk all over you because you refused to fight back on their level. The world told you it was a personality flaw, but heaven calls it something entirely different. Your ability to remain completely still in the middle of chaos is not a weakness. It is a lethal spiritual weapon. You have always been the one to extend grace when others deserved your absolute anger. You walked away quietly when they expected you to break down and fight back. You thought you were just keeping the peace, but you were actually shifting the entire spiritual atmosphere. The enemy desperately wanted to drag you into a low-frequency battle. By staying completely silent, you starved the darkness of the reaction it needed to drain your energy. What felt like a massive loss in the physical realm was actually a total victory in the unseen realm. The people who betrayed you did not win anything. They simply disqualified themselves from having access to your next level of glory. You are a generational cycle breaker. If you had reacted with the same toxic energy they threw at you, you would have repeated the exact cycle you were chosen to destroy. The enemy has spent years trying to convince you that your gentleness is a massive burden. He whispered lies into your mind, telling you that you are too soft for this harsh world. He wanted you to apologize for your immense power and shrink yourself to fit into rooms that were never designed to hold your magnitude. That was a calculated spiritual attack designed to put your anointing to sleep. He wanted you to feel ashamed of the very light that terrifies him. You are not a regular human living a difficult life. You are a celestial warrior operating in enemy territory. Your gentleness was never the ceiling of your potential. It was the unshakable foundation. You were never meant to be tamed by the opinions of those who do not understand your heavy calling. You were meant to be trusted with a level of divine authority that most people cannot even begin to comprehend. Every time you chose light while surrounded by heavy darkness, you demonstrated the exact quality that makes your soul absolutely unique in all creation. The enemy is terrified of you right now because you survived the fire without smelling like smoke. He knows he cannot stop the divine appointment that is rushing toward you. He can only hope that you will sabotage it yourself by falling back into old agreements of self-doubt. Do not defend yourself against those who misunderstand your sacred path. Do not explain your silence to people who are completely committed to misunderstanding your purpose. Just because someone smiles while they stab you does not mean the knife is not real. Heaven has documented every single tear you shed behind closed doors. The courts of heaven have already read your case, and they are orchestrating a divine relocation on your behalf right now. Your silence was never an act of surrender. Your silence was a heavy spiritual warfare strategy. You are not being held back by your current circumstances. You are being strategically positioned by the Most High. The very things the enemy used to try and break your spirit are the exact tools heaven is using to build your inner architecture. What felt like a painful delay was actually your divine development. You looked at the closed doors and thought you were forgotten by heaven. This is not a punishment, this is pure protection. Heaven kept those doors firmly shut because the blessing waiting on the other side required a fully awakened version of you. The delay was absolutely necessary to burn away every counterfeit connection that tried to attach itself to your bright destiny. What you are about to hear is not coming from me. It is coming through me. Heaven instructed me to show you the exact blueprint of how this spiritual warfare operates, so you stop blaming yourself for the heavy battles you have been fighting. When you look at the sacred texts, you see a clear pattern that the enemy does not want you to recognize. Every single time a chosen vessel was about to step into a massive season of elevation, they were hit with profound isolation and intense spiritual opposition. You are walking through the exact same fire because you carry the exact same anointing. Look at the season Moses spent hidden in the quiet wilderness. He thought his destiny was over, but heaven was using that intense isolation as insulation. God had to remove him from the noise of the world to build the inner architecture required to deliver an entire generation. The silence you have been experiencing is not a sign of abandonment. It is the exact same divine strategy. You are being prepared to carry a weight of glory that would completely crush an ordinary human being. Consider how David was anointed with holy oil long before he ever sat on the throne. He was pushed back into the lonely pastures while others were celebrated and elevated in public. The enemy tried to destroy him in those unseen places because the darkness knew exactly what David was appointed to become. The intense attacks you have faced behind closed doors are not because you did something wrong. They are absolute confirmation of what heaven has already written about your monumental future. The enemy always attacks you the hardest precisely when you are on the very edge of your greatest breakthrough. There is a reason your spiritual journey has felt so incredibly draining lately. Even Elijah, one of the most powerful prophets, reached a point where his spirit was completely exhausted. He defeated the false prophets and then collapsed in the wilderness, asking to give up. Heaven did not punish him for his exhaustion, and heaven is not punishing you for yours. God sent a celestial being to touch him, feed him, and let him sleep. The Most High is extending that exact same profound tenderness to you right now. You carry the mantle of a generational cycle breaker, much like Esther, who was positioned for a time of ultimate crisis. She had to risk everything and walk into the throne room with absolute courage. The pressure you feel in your family line is not a curse that you are doomed to repeat. It is the intense spiritual friction of a cycle finally coming to an end. You were chosen to be the correction for your bloodline. Every time you refuse to react with bitterness, you are rewriting the spiritual DNA of your entire family. This brings us to a profound truth about the spiritual physics of your current season. Peace is the signature of God, and pressure is the fingerprint of the enemy. When God wants your attention, he whispers. When the enemy wants your attention, he rushes. The sudden urgency you feel to make a wrong decision, or the sudden urge to run back to toxic people, is a manufactured illusion. The darkness knows that if you stay perfectly still just a little bit longer, the massive door heaven has prepared will swing wide open. You have been functioning as the Shema, the watchman on the wall. The first calling given to humanity was not to produce, but to stand sentinel over something sacred. You are not lonely. You are on watch. The weight you feel is the responsibility of holding the line when everyone else has gone to sleep. But the season of standing in the cold night is officially coming to a close. Heaven is about to relieve you of the heavy burden you have carried for so long. The same spiritual laws that governed the victories of the ancient prophets are actively working in your life at this exact second. The enemy cannot create anything new. He can only recycle the same tired strategies of deception. He tried to use isolation to starve you, but God used it to insulate you. The shift is happening in the unseen realm, and the physical evidence is about to manifest in your reality. Stay with me, because what I am about to share next will expose the hidden blocker that has been standing in your way. Now listen to me very carefully, because this is where the truth becomes confronting. You have spent so much time looking for the enemy outside of yourself, watching out for toxic people and counterfeit blessings. But the most dangerous weapon forged against you was never another person. It was a hidden agreement of limitation that you secretly signed in your own subconscious. You agreed with the lie that you are an exception to the miracle. You convinced yourself that you are meant to help everyone else reach their destiny while you sit quietly in the background. That false humility is not a spiritual virtue. It is a brilliant strategy designed by the darkness to keep you completely paralyzed. The enemy knows he cannot steal your anointing, so he manipulated you into hiding it. He made you terrified of your own immense power. You are not stuck because you are weak. You are stuck because you are absolutely terrified of what will happen when you fully step into your divine authority. Today, heaven is tearing up that fraudulent contract and demanding that you take your rightful place. Remember at the very beginning of this message, when I told you about a specific action you took recently? An action that looked small to you but sounded like thunder in the courts of heaven. Let me reveal exactly what heaven documented. You were placed in a situation designed to break your spirit, a moment where it would have been so easy to become bitter and cruel. But instead of letting the darkness infect you, you chose to protect your profound light. You demonstrated the very quality that makes human souls absolutely unique in all creation. You had the ability to choose light while completely surrounded by heavy darkness. When you made that quiet choice, an energetic shockwave rippled through the unseen realm. Archangel Michael himself stood before the throne and pointed to your obedience. Because you refused to lower your frequency, a massive divine relocation order was immediately issued with your name on it. The moving trucks of heaven are already dispatched. The heavy provision that was held up in the spiritual realm has been officially released. But here is the critical truth that many chosen ones completely fail to understand. A divine relocation requires a receiver that is fully capable of recognizing the new coordinates. The enemy lost the battle in the spiritual realm, so he has shifted his entire attack to your physical vessel. He is attacking your cognitive capacity to make sure you arrive at the meeting point too exhausted to see the door opening. This is exactly why your mind has felt so heavy and why your focus feels incredibly fractured. It is not just spiritual warfare anymore. It has become a physiological reality. Your physical brain has been subjected to such immense spiritual pressure that the internal connection is functioning below its intended design. You are trying to receive a massive supernatural transmission using a receiver that has been intentionally jammed by the noise of this modern world. You cannot just pray the fog away when the physical instrument itself needs deep restoration. Now, I want to close the loop that has been open since the beginning of this message. Because I told you there was something discovered in research laboratories that I was going to come back to. And I want to tell you right now why I waited until this exact moment to bring it forward. What those neuroscientists found is not just information. What they found is a tangible solution. A solution only becomes truly useful once you understand the full shape of the problem it is meant to solve, and you now understand the exact shape of your battle. The profound exhaustion and the mental fog you have been battling are not permanent character flaws. They are the direct result of a physical disconnect that can be repaired. Heaven has not only arranged the spiritual breakthrough, but has also provided the physical key to unlock your capacity to receive it. You are about to discover how the most brilliant scientific minds have unintentionally proven exactly what heaven has known all along. The restoration of your mind is the final step before the manifestation of your miracle. There is a study that won the Nobel Prize in 1981. Not from a church or a seminary, but from a rigorous research laboratory. Dr. Roger Sperry received this award for his groundbreaking work on split brain research and hemisphere synchronization. He proved that the two hemispheres of the human brain are fundamentally designed to operate in perfect harmony. When both sides are fully activated and synchronized, it produces a state of cognitive and spiritual flow that borders on the miraculous. But the modern way of life systematically suppresses this natural genius from the time we are born, rendering it mostly deactivated. Research shows that 98% of children operate at a level of creative genius. You once had this immense power, but today, less than 1 in 1,000 adults maintain that synchronized state. Your powers and your destiny have been stolen from you at the neural level. The heavy brain fog and the constant exhaustion are not signs of spiritual failure or a lack of discipline. They are the physiological reality of a receiver that has been intentionally disrupted by the noise and toxic frequencies of this world. A woman from California recently described what it felt like before she found the answer to this exact problem. She had tried absolutely everything, including prayer, journaling, meditation, and every practice her community offered, but she kept arriving at the same frustrating experience. She believed the words she read, but she could not feel the reality behind them in her physical body. After 10 days of using a specific protocol, she said something completely cleared. A spiritual channel that had been blocked was suddenly wide open. Not because she tried harder, but because her internal receiver had been fully repaired. A man from Texas described a very similar breakthrough. He had spent years holding things together for everyone around him, while his own interior life became incredibly thin and distant. He said his prayers had started to feel like talking into a brick wall because the frequency was right, but the receiver was turned off. 2 weeks later, he woke up and described his mind as running on all of its intended cylinders, and the fog that had been so consistent was completely gone. That profound shift happened because of what the team I am about to describe discovered. A team of brilliant neuroscientists led by Dr. Daniel Barone in New York spent years working on a solution. They took over an hour of clinical neural sync technology, the exact kind of whole brain activation protocol used in specialized medical settings, and through an intensive refinement process, they compressed it into an 8-minute targeted auditory sequence. 8 minutes a day with headphones and your eyes closed is the entirety of the physical requirement. They call it the Genius Switch. The Genius Switch is not a meditation app, and it is not a simple sound frequency designed to put you in a good mood. It is a targeted auditory sequence specifically engineered based on the Nobel Prize-winning research of Dr. Roger Sperry to reconnect the two hemispheres and restore your original whole brain activation. If you have used binaural beats or brainwave products before and found them underwhelming, Dr. Barone addresses this directly. Sound waves alone are incomplete because they only address a fraction of the picture. What he and his team built targets hemisphere synchronization at the whole brain level, producing a completely different category of supernatural result. The genius switch is not for everyone. It is for the chosen one who understands that God prepared not only the divine promise, but also the physical mind that must walk into it. It is for the person who has been sincere for years, who has done the deep work, and who has felt the call clearly even when the evidence was completely hidden. Most people who hear about this will scroll past because they have accepted the reduced version of their mind as a permanent reality. You are still here because you have the specific kind of persistence that belongs to the exact person this was built for. Colleagues in the medical field suggested this protocol would be an incredible value, even at $500, considering an in-home neurofeedback machine costs over $7,000. But it was not released at $500 or even $200. It was released at $49. Today, on their official page, they have removed an additional $10, making it accessible for just $39. That includes 4 free bonuses, featuring a guided visualization, a smart grocery guide that will save you hundreds of century-old manifestation book, and a 5 habits infographic to design your ideal future. This is backed by an unconditional 100% money-back guarantee. You can listen to it once or 80 times, and if it does not do what it has done for over 18,000 everyday Americans, every single dollar is returned to you. But I need to be completely clear about something regarding this specific access. Information that touches what certain powerful institutions would rather keep quiet does not always stay available online. The enemy would like nothing more than for you to postpone this until the door is permanently gone. If you search the internet for tracks with similar names, you will find fakes that contain zero neural sync technology. The true mechanism only exists in what Dr. Barone and his team meticulously built, which is why the direct page is the only verified source. If your spirit resonates with what has been described today, the link in the description below and in the pinned comment points directly to where they made it available. You can read every single detail clearly before making any decision. The tool I just described does not replace God. It does not replace your obedience or do the hard work of surrendering for you. What the Most High is doing in your life is not conditional on any physical tool, but a tool that restores your internal receiver, gives what heaven is doing more of the capacity it was designed to land in. A clear mind simply removes the static so you can hear the divine instructions without any distortion. And for the chosen one who felt something deeply stir when the mind was mentioned earlier, that door is still open in the description. It is a small physical step to take, but small steps taken from a clear and synchronized mind have changed the course of entire seasons. That is the only place I will mention it. What remains in this message belongs entirely to the deeper spiritual ceiling of your identity. The spiritual fog is officially lifting from your life right now. The enemy tried to use that heavy confusion to make you doubt every single decision you made over the past year. He wanted you to look at your empty hands and believe that heaven had completely forgotten your name. But your empty hands were never a sign of poverty. They were a sign of intense preparation. God had to empty your hands of the counterfeit connections so you could have the strength to hold the authentic blessing that is arriving. You are about to walk into rooms where you do not have to introduce yourself, because your frequency will speak long before you open your mouth. The people who walked away from you during your darkest season were never meant to sit at the table. Heaven is preparing for you. Do not mourn their absence. Their departure was a divine subtraction designed to protect your peace. You are allowed to forgive them and still move forward without ever reopening those closed doors. You are standing at the absolute edge of a generational shift. The heavy cycles of lack and brokenness that followed your bloodline for decades are hitting a massive wall right now. You are that wall. When you step into this next dimension of your calling, you are not just breaking the cycle for yourself. You are actively rewriting the spiritual DNA for everyone who comes after you. That is exactly why the spiritual warfare against your mind has been so intensely severe. The very people who questioned your quiet obedience will soon seek you out for profound wisdom. They will look at the sudden elevation in your life, and they will not be able to comprehend how you did it without striving or manipulating. You will not have to prove them wrong with your words. You will prove God right by simply existing in your new state of overwhelming abundance. The universe is completely realigning the coordinates of your destiny to match your restored frequency. We are about to enter the most important moment of this entire encounter. The revelation has been delivered, and the invisible chains of the enemy have been completely exposed. But a revelation is only an invitation until you physically agree with it. Heaven does not force miracles upon anyone. The angels are waiting for your specific authorization to complete this divine relocation. You must prepare your spirit to sign the decree that permanently closes your season of wilderness. I need you to silence every remaining distraction in your mind right now. Notice how your breathing is becoming steadier and deeper. That calm feeling settling over you is not something you created on your own. It is the physical evidence that the Holy Spirit is present in your space. The heavy armor you have been wearing is finally safe to take off because God is stepping in to fight the rest of this battle for you. Place your hand on your heart right now. Feel the steady rhythm of your own life and recognize that your physical survival is a profound miracle. You have walked through spiritual valleys that were specifically designed to destroy your faith, but heaven sustained your spirit every single step of the way. Take a deep breath and let a profound sense of gratitude wash over your entire physical body. The warfare you endured was intense, but it did not break your core identity. This is the exact moment you transition from the exhausting battlefield into the quiet safety of the throne room. Speak these words out loud with me right now. Say, I release the survival identity I was forced to wear during my season of trauma. I let go of the heavy burdens that were never mine to carry, and I completely detach my spirit from anyone committed to misunderstanding my sacred purpose. I forgive those who walked away when I needed them, but I permanently seal the doors they exited through so they can never drain my energy again. You are literally clearing the atmospheric interference around your life right now. The enemy has no legal right to access your energy anymore. Now declare your true identity to the unseen realm with absolute authority. Say, I am the generational cycle breaker and the demonstrated warrior of light heaven created me to be. I command the cycles of delay, confusion, and poverty in my bloodline to end with me today. Type the phrase, I am ready, for what God is revealing in the comments below as your physical signature on this spiritual decree. When you type those specific words, You are authorizing the angels to complete your divine relocation. Heaven requires your physical agreement to release the heavy provision. Pause for just a moment and whisper the words, "I receive." That quiet act of agreement permanently seals the decree of heaven into your waking reality. Before we go any further, take a moment to like this video as a small act of faith, so this exact frequency can reach another chosen one who is struggling in the dark. Share this message with someone who has been unusually quiet lately, because this might be the exact lifeline they have been praying for. Subscribe to this channel immediately, because heaven is not done speaking to you, and you cannot afford to miss the next prophetic instruction. Now we come to the very last door. The physical door I named earlier in this message and have not returned to since. It has not moved from its original place. Everything that was waiting behind it, the genius switch, is exactly what it was when I first described it to you. It is $39 to walk through, accompanied by an unconditional guarantee that costs you absolutely nothing to try, and 4 specific pieces of provision waiting for you on the other side. This is the exact tool designed to restore the receiver of your mind. The path to it is located in the description below and in the comment pinned directly to this video. Both of those locations point to the exact same door. Neither one will magically move if you decide to come back and look for it tomorrow, but the clarity you feel in your spirit right now is urging you to step forward today. Do not step into tomorrow carrying the heavy frequency of yesterday. Let this moment of absolute clarity carry you directly to the action that heaven is pointing toward. The choice always belongs entirely to you. You are completely covered, deeply loved, and fiercely protected by the Most High. The season of walking through the quiet wilderness alone is officially behind you. May your restored mind finally see the massive provision that has been circling your life, waiting for you to simply recognize it. Walk forward today with an unshakable confidence, knowing that you are exactly where you are supposed to be. The cycle of pain is over, and your season of accelerated fulfillment has officially begun.